Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how to shade the hair and also the hat for our Captain Pirate Jack here. So the hat is darker on the left side, and then we've got a highlight in the middle here. I'm just going to kind of show you a bit. And then it gets darker to the right of the page. So we're going to recreate that. So what you need to do is take your pencil and you're going to shade just like this. As you can see, I shaded up and down for this part. We did that already. We're also going to shade underneath the line right here, which is the crease. And then we're going to do some lighter shading right here. So as you can see, I have a bunch of values here. So a value, again, in case anyone doesn't know or remember, a value is the dark or lightness of a color or the shading on a form. So a form being something that is three-dimensional, a three-dimensional shape. It helps create the illusion of a form, of three-dimensionality. I think that's a word. I hope it is. So as you can see, this is lighter, this is darker. We're going to get darker over here. It's a little darker. And then this is a little darker than the lighter part we shaded here. So I'm now going to take my tortillon, and you can take whatever blending tool you're using, and we're going to blend all of this. See how nice that is starting to look? We'll probably have to go back in and create some more whites towards our highlight, but we'll see. So now we're just going to blend this, and then we're going to come over here to the right, and we're going to blend this too. It's also darker toward the bottom of his hat. You can also go up and down for over here. So you can do both. You can go up and down in order to blend it very nicely. As you can see, I'm also kind of going a little bit in circles. See that, how I'm blending a bit in circles here. And now we're going to go really light and take some of that shading into our highlight. And then start blending over here so that it looks seamless. So see, by changing direction of my blending tool, I'm able to blend the graphite. And then I can add some texture on top with my pencil. So that's the key. So I'm going to blend this. I'm going to blend it so it looks smooth or smoother. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to add a bit of blending right up here. And now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to erase some parts that I want to be lighter. A little bit over here. See how I go back in. And you can even dab a little bit. I want a little more of a highlight here. And I want some of this to be a little whiter. So I'm even going to go into a bit of the shading that I did. And then a little bit on the shape too. Now I'm going to redraw the line for his hat. And over here, I'm gonna make this curve around. Take a little more away. And I'm gonna go back over here. And then I'm gonna add one more dark shading. Pressing a bit on my pencil here. And just going down. Add a little bit here too. If this is hard for you, you can also go up and down like this. I'm going to fill that in. And then right next to it, you want to do what's called a transition. So transition is sort of the shade in between two other tones. So for instance, this is a lot darker. This is less darker, but then we have a tone in between there that's going to make it look realistic, because that's the way light happens, or the absence of light, meaning a shadow, creates that three-dimensional effect on a form or shape. Okay, so also I want to go underneath the hat here and make sure that this is dark. And I'm going to add a bit of a shadow under here too. I'm going to go a little darker. I'm going to shade on the left side of the bandana in the corners here so that it looks a little more three-dimensional. And you can go back and create a little bit darker lines of the bandana. And you can add some more shading. I'm going to add some here. So his bandana would be darkest towards this side of the hat. You can also do some shading right underneath towards the bridge of the nose, a little bit there. And we're going to get to the hair. So we're going to shade on the left side of this coil going down. And also on the right side toward his face. And you can add some dark lines toward his face. or coming from his face. And now there is a dark spot right here. I'm trying to remember from the picture if that was his hair. I think it was. Or maybe it was something on top of the hair. And now finally the shading for the hair. So remember we have this dark. We're going to darken that a little more. We're also going to darken, I forgot to mention, you want to darken this part of the crinkle. But you want it to be a little bit lighter when you go into the actual form of the crinkle. I'm just going to add a little more darkness to this. So I want it to be a little more dark. You can also add some darkness right at the top of the hat where the edge is. See that, how that transforms the shape of the hat? And now we're going to go back to the hair and we're going to start individually creating shading. So the hair is a bit darker up here in this spot. So now we're creating what's called some midtones. Midtone is lighter than the darkest area of your drawing, but darker than your lightest area. So it's called a mid-tone for middle. And this is the separation of his hair. To make it darker at the bottom where it curls. Here too. And then we're going to take our tortillon or whatever you're blending with. We're just going to smooth that out. So this all takes some patience. We're also now going to start adding some darks. And add some individual hairs there. A little more shading up here. The hair would be darkest or have sort of a shadow up towards the hat part. And then here I made another coil. So you can start to add some light curved lines for that coil. And you can start adding some individual hairs too over here and make them darker if you like. And over here with this one, we're going to shade it and then create some circle texture on top. This is part of the bandana. So again, I'm going to use my tortillon. Smooth that out. And now this is where I'm going to start creating some more darks. So now I'm pressing on my pencil. Create some of those darks. And here's where, in this section right here, I'm going to create some texture by going in kind of some scribbly circles. And then I'm going to go back in even with my pencil. Lighten it up a little bit. Might actually want to lighten up beforehand, actually. I should have mentioned that. And then again, here's some hair. We've got this second part of his dreads happening here. This is his shirt. And his neck. You know, you can also go back and add some dark fuzziness to the edge of his face here. And also to his mustache. Just going to darken up some of the lip part here. Add some more fuzz to his beard. And we've got the little braid here. Just have fun with all that texture. Add a little underneath his lip here. Gonna fix his nostril a little here. And also just finishing up a bit more of his cheekbone here under the eye. With this cheekbone to be a little more highlight. So I'm going to make it a little bit more roundish because his cheekbone goes like this. This part is a bit more hollow. I can draw a little texture on it too. So again, back with the hair. Now you can add some darker lines of hair on top of the texture that you created with the shading of your pencil. And you can get more lines in here for this individual hair. Make this a little darker. can even create some sort of individual strands here. And there you go. I can probably work a little more on this to make some things darker. But I pretty much like how it looks. And now I can't wait to see yours. So work on this tutorial and then take a picture and send it to either me or the library. You can respond to the email that you received for the Zoom link. So have fun with this, and I can't wait to see yours.